What's up guys, Anders here with another video. This time we're going to take a look at the Shai Awakening, or what Polarbus is calling it, her talent. It works much the same way as a normal awakening, where you need to reach level 56, do a series of quests to unlock your talents. But instead of killing monsters, the quest starts off in Florin, sends you to Fanil's cabin in Calfian, then to Heidel, back to that cabin, then to Portaferia, finally back to the cabin to finally get all your instruments. A lot of talking to NPCs, but no really killing monsters whatsoever. After doing all of that, you'll receive the 3 yellow grade instruments. You'll get a flute, a lute, and a djembe. Each instrument has different properties, and the yellow grade ones can be enhanced to strengthen those effects. That means if you want all 3, you'll have to enhance all 3, which kind of sucks because usually you only have to enhance 1 weapon, but now you have the option of enhancing 3. They take memory fragments to repair and cannot be croned or sold to the market, so keep that in mind if you're going to go the enhancing route. The talent skill tree is also fairly short and contains very few offensive skills. Almost all her talent kit are support, and none of them contain any form of frontal guard or super armor. Some talent skills include evasion reduction on enemies by 10% for 10 seconds on a 15-second cooldown. There's another skill that increases your HP by 1500 for 10 seconds on a 20-second cooldown, though in this form, when you use this skill and many other skills, you're constantly casting the skill, meaning that the 10-second cooldown will be refreshed if you stay in that stance. So the HP plus 1500 becomes a heal every 10 seconds that can also increase your max HP to 1500 above your normal max HP. It's theoretically very strong, but again, I said it's unprotected, so you can get stunned out of it. There's another rhythm skill that will increase your Black Spirit Rage regeneration, so you can get your ultimates faster. That one seems interesting, though not as useful unless you have Valkyries and Sorks in your squad. On top of the evasion debuff, she has a similar DP debuff of 10% for 10 seconds, again on a 15-second cooldown. Her E buff, more commonly known as the class's Awakening buff, gives you AP plus 15 and special attack damage plus 5% for 30 seconds. Now her AP buff in my translation says it's a monster AP buff, but I've seen it be translated to just a straight AP buff as well, so we'll have to wait for the official translation on that one. Now these buffs and the debuffs, including her Awakening buff, all affect Shai and her allies. So the debuffs obviously affect the enemies, and all the buffs affect her and her allies. So pretty much if I were to describe her talent skills, I would call them full support skills. You'll still need your main weapon for grinding, and it's going to be a lot of juggling each instrument for the different buffs you want. That means you'll want to slot your instruments into your hotbar to be able to switch faster. Now PvP wise, I've seen some fake news about Shai becoming godlike in PvP now, that they've removed the PvP damage reduction that is inherent to Shai. That's not true at all, at least from what I've tested. She still does no damage in PvP, and you'll die just as fast as you normally do. Now in group PvP, she has a chance to become at least a bit more useful than she's been recently. Now the DP debuffs are very strong. She has the attack speed and movement speed buffs as well. They're also very strong, and both can be kept up nearly constantly. The max HP buff I talked about can be kept up constantly if you run 2 Shais in your main force. She has a talent that increases everyone's resistances by 50%, which is also very strong, and only has a 5 seconds of off cooldown period. So again, it lasts for 10 seconds and has a 15-second cooldown. So really you only have a 5-second window where you're not having that. If you have 2 Shais, you basically always have this. Now these skills, like I said, are theoretically amazing to have in large scale fights, especially good in T1s where AP and DP are limited, so percentage based debuffs and buffs are especially strong. Now the one glaring issue I see is the lack of super armor and frontal guard on any skill. Any archer that knows what he's doing will keep your Shai on the ground before they're even able to cast resistance buffs, although some of the talents do activate regardless of whether or not you get stunned or die. It still keeps going, but if you keep dying, it's not really that useful. And like I said, it's going to make Shai a likely target for assassins, and she won't really be able to do too much about it. Of course, the fact that she is a target says she's dangerous to keep around. I mean, you don't really want an enemy force to be constantly buffed with AP and resistance buffs, but the lack of protection is concerning. Now in PvE, she'll go from being an already decent grinder, honestly, with just her main hand, to pretty good if you can cycle those DP debuffs in places like Miramok, Hystria, etc. She can definitely solo grind or group grind just fine. Now PvE is not where I'm worried about Shai. It's her one-on-one potential. It's still just trash, and she still is the worst duelist in the game by a country mile. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about her. That's my first impression. I like the flavor. The skills are cool. You can summon a bear, a panther, or a tree spirit with your skills to do attacks and debuffs. That's pretty cool to see, but you can't really control them like a pet or anything like that. So don't expect to be like a summoner. Like, they really focused on her support role with these talents. It's very obvious with that. And I think the true test is going to come when the majority of Shai mains get a hold of the Talent Awakening on live servers and see how she does in large-scale fights. Like I said, in PvE she is fine. If you're purely playing Shai for the PvE and life skill aspect, then you have nothing to worry about. The talent skill just gives you a little bit more clear speed than before, and you should be fairly happy with what you have to work with. Maybe not so happy if you want to enhance all 3 instruments, but that's how it is. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Those are my thoughts on the Shai Awakening. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments down below. Are you excited for Shai's Awakening to release soon? Usually takes about a week or two from when it releases on the test server to come out worldwide. So probably gonna hit Korea next week, and then for everyone else the following week. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Every sub we get helps us tremendously as we continue to grow. And if you want to help the channel out even further, take a look at the description and check out my referral link for Exit Lag. Now, Exit Lag is a gaming VPN service, easy to use, and also acts as a ping reducer. So if you're like me and you're playing from the States to the EU servers in BDO, it makes a big difference to your playing experience. You can check out the service for free for 3 days, and you have nothing to lose trying it out. And if you do decide that it works out for you, you can use coupon code ANDERS to save 15% off your subscription. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.